Welcome back to Drum Corps Show Design 101. In this episode, we discuss accessibility.
Accessibility is the quality of relatability in your show. If the audience doesn't get it, it's the designer's fault.
There are two main questions for designers to ask themselves. Does my audience understand my selected subject and theme? And two, does my show even have a fully developed theme at all? That's right, some show designs are so underdeveloped or amateurish that they have nothing to say. Or the subject and theme of the show are so ambiguous, vague, or unclear, the audience doesn't understand the content or thematic meaning behind it. What is the show trying to tell us?
In the early days of drum corps, there was no theme. Shows were designed with a jukebox format, where the repertoire was random and had no cohesion. But today's drum corps shows have evolved to have complex subjects and themes, like music videos, opera, and all the other professional performing arts. Today's drum corps shows have artistic substance and a professional standard.
Well, some of them anyway.
To make your show accessible, avoid these designer pitfalls. 1. Lack of clarity in staging.
22 program of War and Peace.
Is the show lacking a visual focus for the audience to follow?
2. Missing components.
Is the audience lost because there aren't enough visual clues about the subject and theme?
3. Vagueness.
Does your show lack a specific context? If the show is too general, it may lack emotional resonance.
4. Lack of social context.
Is it socially relevant? Is this artistic statement worth spending $1 million on?
5. Lack of high stakes.
Are you picking a random historical or literary subject, and no one in the audience knows why?
6. Lack of cohesion.
Do your show elements belong together, and the audience gets it?
7. Lack of higher purpose.
What's the deeper meaning in your show? Without some higher purpose, the audience asks, what's important about this material? What are the artist's stakes?
Now that we've identified some of the common reasons for a lack of clarity in show subject and theme, designers must ask themselves these important questions. Is the theme articulable? Can you state succinctly why it's important? Are preseason crowds confused? Do you have a pattern of action and an ending? Without a meaningful ending, you have no resolution and no meaning. Will you say the show is up to interpretation, which is a telltale sign of underdevelopment? Will you lie and say the show is intentionally abstract, even though they can see right through you?
Even non-linear shows should be logical, engaging, have a strong ending, and have a higher purpose. But if your abstract show design doesn't make sense, that means that you're unprepared, giving a design that you threw together in only 2 weeks. You can't fool the marching members. A design that doesn't make logical sense to them, and doesn't engage them emotionally is obvious. You didn't put the show through a professional development cycle.
A proper show development cycle includes the following steps. 1. Staff proposes music selections and themes. 2. The director pares down the list to workable music and themes within schedule and within budget. 3. The director chooses themes that align with the organization's core values. 4. Director and staff storyboard the show's sequence of music and action, even if it has no story. 5. Develop the sequence of set pieces, proposed drill, arrangements, and ending. 6. Rework the proposed sequence. Incorporate audience feedback. And repeat.
Drum corps shows with accessibility get a bigger audience reaction. When the audience sees a relatable pattern, they can predict what happens next, and become fully invested to the end.
The truth is, a good scoring production displays a clear, high-stakes point of view and purpose, with a transformation by the end, even if there's no story elements. Let's look at 2023's shows and see if they were accessible, and if they were abstract, was it intentional good design, or was it incompetent designer bullshit? Let's give each 2023 show a clarity rating out of 10.
Blue Devils Both Sides Now was about Matisse's end-of-life challenges and the resulting artistic discovery.
Although the show was heavy in symbolism and required the audience to research Matisse, the show was engaging and with a higher purpose. Clarity rating 8.
Bluecoat's show Garden of Love featured William Blake's poem and railed against government restriction on sexual mores.
The show was logical, engaging, and with a strong political message. By the end of the show, the invading religious zealots scamper away, and natural order returns. Clarity rating 10.
Boston, The White Whale was based on Herman Melville's novel.
This narrative show was logical, engaging, with a strong ending, and strong ties to the themes in the novel. Some staging was cluttered and character definition was unclear. Clarity scored 9.0.
Carolina Crown illustrated The Round Table, the story of King Arthur.
Crown's narrative style show was a sequential, engaging take on the lead character King Arthur's love triangle. Crown used Broadway-quality performers and visuals, but what's the higher purpose? What is the point of the mythical story? Why now? This show doesn't reach professional design standards for thematic development and social relevance. Clarity score 7.5.
Cadets, Atlas Rising was about the influence of the Greek Titan Atlas.
But what's the artistic point of view? What's the higher purpose? That the activity of drum corps is physically challenging? What changes by the end of the show? Where's the emotional substance? This show fails professional standards for thematic development and higher purpose. Clarity score 5.0.
Mandarins, Sinnerman crackled with a specific subject of America's prison cycle.
This show was passable for a professional show design, and although it was logical, engaging, and had a higher purpose, it lacked an ending and lacked narrative clarity. Clarity rating 8.0.
Phantom, Exogenesis addressed the sci-fi subject of aliens populating Earth before time.
That's a strong subject. But what's the theme? What happens on the ending? A celebration? But why? What are they celebrating? This show did not meet professional design standards for narrative structure and thematic development. Clarity rating 7.0.
Cavaliers, Anniversary Show, Where You'll Find Me, illustrated snippets from past shows.
The show's primary visual features were mirrored feathers with a rotating base that turned them into phallic symbols, and feminine breast shading on the color guard. But why these sexual components? What's the theme? What changes by the ending? This retrospective show was not complete and lacked a specific, articulable theme with depth and meaning.
Colts, Where the Heart Is, was about the concept of home, with the performers announcing their home addresses.
But the theme is unclear. Are they homesick? Are they traveling artists? Is it a new era defining what home is? How is the end different from the beginning? At the end, the stadium is announced as their home. But why? The artistic point of the show is unclear and fails professional standards for design clarity, even non-linear shows with no story.
Troopers, the Sergio Leone-style production to Lasso the Sun, illustrated a cowboy character trying literally to wrap a rope around a prop sun.
Although the title Lasso the Sun is an idiom for doing the impossible, and has a hidden metaphor for promoting solar energy, the show lacked real-world logic. By the end, the featured performer completes the lasso of a sun prop, but the audience can't understand why he would want to do this literally in the first place. A metaphor taken literally eventually fails the test of logic, lacks thematic development, and doesn't meet professional design standards. 4.5.
Blue Stars, in Absinthia is a show about the wormwood drink absinthe, and the green fairy of legend.
But why this subject? Where's the social context? Where's the historical context of absinthe? The show lacks a discernible thematic argument and lacks a point of view. Nothing changes by the ending. This show fails professional standards for non-narrative show design.
Blue Knight's show, Unharnessed, used a confusing combination of obelisks and a pyramid prop, along with some bondage imagery.
The show's narrator tells us to break free from constraints, but that's a generalized phrase lacking specificity, lacking high stakes, and lacking a central character with whom the audience identifies. By the end, nothing has changed. This show fails professional standards for show design because we don't know who is breaking free from what or why it's important. The show lacked basic thematic development and clarity in staging.
It's time for drum corps designers to meet professional performing arts standards. It's time for designers to develop some responsibility of interpretation. Your drum corps show designs must be logical, engaging, have a strong ending with a point, and have a higher purpose. Just like the professional arts. Even if it's non-narrative, abstract or subconsciously derived, and even if it has no story.
Besides, the clearer the artistic point of view, and the more defined the thematic argument, the higher the score.
Designers, you are responsible for the following. 1. Clarity of subject. 2. Clarity of theme. 3. Audience accessibility. 4. Creating a theme of substance and depth. Drum corps designers. Welcome to the professional world of performing arts entertainment. Step up. Know your responsibilities.